And thanks for joining us once again on PM Express. There is one story in town, the election of Dr. Mahmud Bawumia as the presidential candidate, the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party. It happened on Saturday, but there is a lot to analyze to help it make sense. I'm pretty sure you've heard many of the analysis already, but a few other aspects of this that we thought we should isolate. Let's start with a very basic point. The basic point of this is that, as you know by now, when it ended, Kennedy Japan had 37.41%, and he had 61.43%. The rest, the last two, as we've been calling them throughout our coverage here on the election headquarters, Dr. Freya Koto had 0.76%, and Dynamo had 0.41%. Now, if you are Dr. Mahmud Bawumia, yes, you won this. Many expected you to win this, but was it a dominant showing? If you put in the context of the fact that he is, of course, the first flag bearer of northern extraction to actually lead a party into an election next year, it is a big deal. It is actually a seminal moment for the party. It is profound indeed, and that is how many are looking at it. Again, because he is also the first Muslim, and he's going to come up against a Christian, both of them coming from the northern part of the country. And that is very significant for a party that has been tagged as an account party. This is actually a departure from what they are used to. But of course, that tag that the NDC had used over the years and warned that if you find yourself from the north in this party, you may not have a place in there. The NPP has shattered that particular tag because of the election of Dr. Bawumia. So beyond the number of 61%, they are holding on to this particular theme and this message going into the 2024 elections. But it wasn't a dominant victory, as they themselves had projected. 75 to 80% is what they were expecting. The story, though, had revolved around Kennedy Japan. Getting 37% was beyond many people's expectations. In fact, there were many who actually looked at him and said, well, and remember when we were doing analysis on election eve, we're telling you that the huge numbers of voters who were telling pollsters that they were not either going to disclose who they're going to vote for or they were undecided. We said that a significant number of those people may be voting for him because nobody wants to identify with him publicly, but quietly they're going to be voting for him. And we saw that play out again at the party's headquarters, where the elite of the party were voting, and still you had a significant number of people, more than 130 people, going into the booth and saying they prefer him. So that's exactly what played out. Now, something else, another interesting variable we are isolating for analysis is his popularity in some of the key regions. And two of the regions in particular had come up for a lot of scrutiny. And I'm talking about Dr. Bawumia in this particular case. So, for example, in two regions, he had below 50%. You can guess the first region, central region. That's where the Kennedy Japan comes from. So that was expected. Of course, this is his home region. And we analyzed that Kennedy Japan's own strength will be tested based on how he performed in the central region. Can he
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
For himself, and now votes there to really his regional base is strong, and he showed that in that particular region. But Dr. Bawumia also gave him a good run for his money there also. But however, less than 50%. But then there's a voter region. And I know that some of the close aides and associates of Dr. Bawumia in this campaign say they want to look into what happened in the voter region, because he lost the voter region also. But of course, remember, and that's where the Alan factor comes to play. When Alan was still in the race, was in the NPP race, he kept on saying that the voter region was one of his strong suits, because he says that for the NPP to win election, they do not only have to do well in their stronghold in the Ashanti region, they must also be formidable enough to make some inroads in the voter region. And indeed, in our political history, in this Fourth Republic, the parties that win the national elections, they do extremely well in their stronghold, and then they get to take away significant votes from the other party's stronghold. And Alan Chamanting says that he's the man to do that in the Volta region. And so he kept on going to Volta region to campaign, right? And he also had one of the most formidable individuals in the NPP that did the magic in the Volta region. I'm talking about John Peter Amewu on his side. John Peter Amewu, since Alan Chamanting's exit, had not gone public to tell us what his position is on the matter. Many people who followed Alan Chamanting, many of the stalwarts like Kathna Feku, Sly Tete, etc., had gone public to say, well, they're switching allegiance now. If Alan is gone, they're going to back him. We've not heard that yet from John Peter Amewu. And that, many are reading into that and say, well, that campaign that Alan led, now that he's left, those delegates in the Volta region, of course, you don't want to give their votes to Bawumia, and so they gave it to who? They gave it to the other individual who they can use as to represent their protest against the party and what they've done in the region or not done in the region. And maybe that's the reason why they voted so massively for Kennedy Japan. That's a very interesting dynamic there, because as we've been analyzing here on the election headquarters, you don't just win national elections by getting overwhelming victories in your stronghold. You must do something in your opponent's stronghold as well. And that is why tonight we know that there's a lot of focus there in the Bawumia camp themselves about looking at what went wrong in the Volta region among their own delegates, and how do you then leverage on that to correct it going to national elections next year. But then also you look at where he secures 61 to 70%. Stronghold, Ashanti regions, up to 66% there. Would you say that was dominant enough? Well, Kennedy Japan, in real numerical terms, had 11,000 votes compared to his 22,000 votes in the Ashanti region. So that is strong, but was that strong enough? Remember that is the home region of Alan Chamanting when he left. And so you were looking at a dominant performance there, 6%, very close to his actual overall tally. And if you put it in that range, it's strong, but he was looking to show that he indeed could get close to the 70s, in the mid-70s there. And that is why when I come to who his possible running mate is, it's important. I'll show you very quickly a graph that we pulled out. The individuals whose names have emerged as possible running mates, all of them come from the Ashanti region. And we're curious to know how Dr. Bawumia performed in their constituency, right? And that will be very important because he needs to improve this. This is the party's core base in the Ashanti region voting and giving him 66%, but giving a significant part of the votes also to Kennedy Japan. So it reinforces the point that he definitely will need somebody else to partner him who can move this number, galvanize the base in the Ashanti region, and get the NPP base there turning out to vote in their numbers, but voting massively for him in elections. And in all elections in Ghana, when the NPP has fallen below 75%, they've lost the national elections in the Ashanti region, right? When they've fallen below 75% in the Ashanti region, they lose a national election. So they need one significant turnout there among the NPP base there to vote for them in 2020, 2024, and need them to show up and vote for him because his face is going to be on a ballot. To do that, this needs to be improved. How do you do that? You need to get somebody else to partner you who has enough traction in Ashanti region to move you beyond 66% to 75, 76, 79% in Ashanti region in the national elections to win it. Once they cross that barrier, history has showed us that they tend to win the national election. So he needs that. Very critical indeed. So this, you're reading a lot into this going forward. And of course, you have his, and this part is important. And this particular region here, and I'll show you very shortly, the one region where he had more than 80% was his home region. Everybody must go back to their base. If your base is not showing you that they love you and giving you massive attention, then what sort of base do you have? And if you don't have a base from which you can go to your core constituency, you will be a very weak candidate. And he's shown this. As Kennedy Japan also showed in the central region, that in his home region, he got massive votes. In fact, the others sometimes got zero in many places. And then if you look at 70 to 80, 4 of the regions that gave him that, again, was in the north. And then the eastern region was in that bracket. And I see the eastern region is important because if you note anything about the NPP, they win the eastern region. It's another strong place for them, right? And Bawumia did well there. So that is a feather in his cap, right? So let's break it down. And these are the regional breakdown as I was isolating there earlier. If you look at the 2023 presidential primary and the regional breakdown, I'm isolating Greater Accra too for you for a second. Because if you look at the Greater Accra region here, the Bawumia was in 19,000. And Kennedy Japan's performance of 17,000 was quite formidable within a region with the elitist sort of voter population among the delegates who tend to represent very close to what you have with the middle class voters. 17,000 was important indeed. But I also isolate for you the Eastern region point that I was making earlier. And here you are here. Dominant win for him there, which is important in the place that is seen traditionally as a region that tend to vote for the NPP quite significantly. So you have there, they like him, right? But in the Ashanti region, he's also pretty dominant there. But Kennedy got half as many votes as him, and which is something that he needs to improve. How does he improve that going into the 2020 elections? One of the things he needs to do is to pick a running mate. But if you look at Kennedy Japan's own, 50% in two regions, as we say, these two regions is what I've isolated the voter in the central region that they need to fix going in there. These are the key areas also if you look at Bawumia performance in the swing regions, right? And another thing we need to isolate among delegates in the swing regions, central, greater, western, he isn't doing as much as he would want to. Central, it determines the eventual winner, when the bellwether, as they call it, except for the last elections, right? But you can expect that in 2020 it will return to type. He needs to be doing quite dominant in these areas, Greater Accra, Western, Central region, and you see his numbers there among the NPP delegates. And if the delegates give you any sense of what is going to happen next year, he will have to do far more in working and targeting these battleground regions because they swing to move the numbers way up. As we begin to pour in the numbers, his team is doing the same also. They know where the weaknesses and where the strengths may emerge. One of the strengths could be who he partners. And so one of the things we did was to look at some of the constituencies. You know him. You said Chairman Sabungsu is a minority leader. The minority leader has been tipped as one of those people who can possibly partner Dr. Bawumia as his running mate. So you want to look at, okay, how did he perform for Bawumia in his constituency? Bawumia got there 56%, and in my estimation, that is a weak performance in Swame, right? If you really want to be my running mate, you should be strong enough in your own constituency to give me overwhelming votes. Anything above 80% is what you're looking at. Nothing more, nothing less. And somebody delivered that. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh delivered that. 85.50%. That is overwhelming. That's as overwhelming as it gets. So in the consideration in the Ashanti region, who do I pick to partner me? If you're looking at the pure numbers, he has a good story for himself. He makes a very strong case, just purely on the basis of the numbers that he delivered for Dr. Bawumia in the primary among the delegates. There's also the Bekwai MP. He was the first Deputy Speaker of Parliament, or say Joe Owusu, who also came in with votes of 71%. Very strong, but not as strong as Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, who is very, very strong when it comes to the consideration of who will partner Bawumia. And then you have the Duchum, the education minister, also coming in. Again, not as strong, 60% of the votes that came in for Dr. Bawumia. So if you're really looking at your strength, and remember the analysis I gave you earlier about he needs to improve his performance in the Ashanti region in the 2024 elections. Which of these will you take? If you're looking at the ability to convince delegates to vote for Dr. Bawumia and your popularity among delegates, you're saying that Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, on a pure basis of the numbers, makes a very strong case. Is this the only factor that Bawumia will be considering? Absolutely not. Is it a factor he should consider? Yes, I will argue. So that gives you a sense there. And they know this is important going forward. But that's another key thing that we need to also look at, and very quickly, is what we've seen over the period now. The full race was twice. Two races that happened, superdelegates race, and then the primary itself. And this is what we are comparing in terms of the superdelegates versus the primary itself. And you notice that Dr. Bawumia actually lost votes from the superdelegates to the primary itself. In terms of percentage terms, 68%. When you come to the superdelegate, 61% when you come to the primary itself. But Kennedy Japan, clearly, if you see this here, that's a significant increase over time. So, and many people said when he got this, that when he came to playing among the grassroots, that is where you will see his strength. And true to that, true to form, he showed that here. When the grassroots base increased and they wanted to vote, as you see, Dr. Bawumia dropped slightly from 68 to 61%. How much should we read into this? Is he not that popular among the grassroots of the party? Well, he won that amongst them, not as dominant as they themselves had predicted. So that tells you he still needs to do more convincing amongst his own ranks going forward, and we need somebody else to partner him. Can Kennedy Ejapon, let me throw that in. Can Kennedy Ejapon be the man to partner him to deliver the grassroots to him? And he has said on the platform when he won on Saturday night that he is going to work with him. He's put the acrimony behind him, and they're going to join forces to get the NDC a good run for their money. It's a showdown now. If he's keeping to his word, then he is in good business, right? Bawumia is in good business because he needs him. Another key thing that we decided to also look at is a superdelegates versus a nationwide poll over the period. And this picture here is so important. It's about the dominance of the eventual candidate, the flag bearer who is elected. And we are comparing Nanado, who is exiting now, who has handed over the flag to Dr. Bawumia. See his dominance the last time in 2014. When he went the first time in the superdelegates, was 80. The next time he went to the primary, when he went to the main primary itself, he had moved to 94%. There was absolutely no doubt in the party that this party is his party. You don't mess with me. What I say is law. And we saw what happened in 2016, the removal of the general secretary and the national chairman, because everything was around him. He can't say the same going into the 2024 elections. He cannot, because of the numbers that he has here. That is why he needs Kennedy Ejapon. The key question is, what will Kennedy Ejapon ask for? What is he going to demand? Everybody wants something in politics. What will he ask for to give him that support that he needs? Because if the two of them close ranks and they present a united front, they'll be very, very formidable, both within the party, galvanizing the base to go out and vote. Because another key thing that incumbents suffer in their second term is the apathy among their own base. They don't go out to vote. They don't vote for the NDC, but don't vote for them too. You need to convince them to go out and vote for you. Kennedy can deliver that. So he needs that, especially if you consider the comparison here. He wasn't as strong in the last primary that's just ended as him. He needed more. Ken can help him do that. That negotiation will be hard indeed. And the final one to show you, and this is over time, and this is where you've heard many in the camp of Bawumia say his strength really lies. And this, look at the first timers. I want to go back to John Kufuor. John Kufuor's first time contesting in the primary was 51%. Nanado's first time was 47%. The Dr. Bawumia's first time is 61%. So if you put it in a historical context, he's actually done exceedingly well. And that's a picture I didn't want to paint with this one. So when you put in a historical context for the party, compared to stalwarts like Kufuor, when they first showed up and threw in their hat for the first time, that percentage is secured, considering the big base now that the party uses to elect whoever is your flag bearer. You cannot underestimate this performance. So immediately you put in that context, a lot changes. You begin to appreciate that he's done tremendously well. Throw into that also the fact that he's a Muslim from the north, in a part that has typically been described as a Khan. That really tells you that he's done some real good work to appeal to that many people, considering that the Khans themselves who have showed up for the first time never managed to get anything close to 60%. It took them the next election and the next to move beyond 61%. That tells you Bawumia's strength. But the key question to ask is, going forward, assuming they don't win next year's elections, can he come to 78? Can he go to 94 and continue to increase his dominance in the party until he wins to become president? Big unknown, big question. My guests will join us for a conversation. The party, I'm focusing a bit more on the party to analyze this, but also all the other key fallouts from the race that ended over the weekend. My guests in the studio after this.
Daddy, this tank is big.
Yes, that's true.
It can store a lot of water.
That's so true.
Wow, it has a working tortoise on it.
That's so true.
I can see SINTEX. Syntax.
That is so true, my daughter.
When it falls down, it will spoil.
That's not true.
But why?
Hey! Syntax was the first to introduce double-layer tanks in Ghana. Syntax again was the first to introduce white inner layers in Ghana. Syntax gives you the biggest warranty, 7 years. No matter your water needs, Syntax is the answer. Syntax tank. Are you strong? Are you...
About 1/3 of a million people live with HIV in Ghana. Close to 10,000 of them die each year, mostly as a result of a lack of antiretroviral drugs and adherence. In fact, close to 57% of children under 14 years living with HIV do not receive antiretroviral drugs, again as a result of inadequate funds to provide them with medication.
Life expectancy for these children is grim. The big worry, close to 16,300 people are newly infected with HIV each year. With this alarming rate of HIV infections, all of us are in danger, and Ghana is headed for an epidemic explosion if nothing is done now to avert it. While the Ghana AIDS Commission is working hard to overturn the situation, the Commission urgently needs funding support from corporate Ghana and individuals to save lives. We're therefore appealing to you, corporate entities and individuals, to support the National HIV and AIDS Fund by dialing *9898# on MTN and Vodafone and follow the prompts, or pay into the National HIV and AIDS Fund account number 101-863-161-3233, Bank of Ghana. Your donation will be used to prevent new infections and provide care for people living with HIV, including children affected by AIDS. For further information, please call Ghana AIDS Commission on 0302 919260 or email info@ghanaids.gov.gh. Give to save a life today. Ghana AIDS Commission, partnering to eliminate HIV and AIDS.
1, 2, give it a dance. Let's go, say.
Hello, with everybody for you. I did your shake bellow. What is someone tell?
Your favorite TV game show, Step Up, is back with another amazing season. This time, we are stepping up with Syntax Tank. Step Up with Syntax Tank will see contestants answer questions of their choice and win over 6,000 Ghana Cedis cash prize weekly and other products from our sponsors. This season, viewers at home should watch out for the Syntax Tank question of the week. Be the first to answer correctly via WhatsApp or send SMS to 050-833-8888 and win incredible prizes. The person who answers most of the weekly questions correctly and fastest gets a 65-inch Samsung TV at the end of the season. Step Up with Syntax Tank, showing on Joy Prime every Sunday, 7:30 p.m. Sponsored by Bell Eyes, MTN Momo, Angel Cola. Powered by Syntax Tank. Joy Prime, your ultimate experience.
Daddy, this tank is big.
Yes, that's true.
It can store a lot of water.
That's so true.
Wow, it has a working tortoise on it.
That's so true.
I can see SINTEX. Syntax.
That is so true, my daughter.
When it falls down, it will spoil.
That's not true.
But why?
Hey! Syntax was the first to introduce double-layer tanks in Ghana. Syntax again was the first to introduce white inner layers in Ghana. Syntax gives you the biggest warranty, 7 years. No matter your water needs, Syntax is the answer. Syntax tank. Are you strong? Are you tough?
made with real apples. Hunter's Refreshing Apple Cider. Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18 or recommended to pregnant women. This advert is FDA approved.
Thinking of investing in real estate? Then look no further. BOA is a well-recognized institution that would give you litigation-free properties. We have well-furnished and unfurnished 4 to 8 bedroom houses, luxurious homes, comfortable mansions, and litigation-free lands across the country. From Tema, East Legon, Medina, West Hillsmore, Accra, and other locations, we are definitely your best to go to. For more information, kindly contact BOA Unique Homes on 0506-859-513 or 0506-859-527 or follow us on our social media handles on Instagram at BOA_homes or YouTube BOA Homes. BOA Unique Homes. We build, we buy.
Introducing the Kensington Heights at Airport City, Kumasi, the largest modern smart city in West Africa. The Kensington Heights is your bridge to the skies, where you can access direct flights to international destinations, including the USA, UK, and Europe. Imagine a world where convenience, comfort, and investment opportunities converge seamlessly. The Kensington Heights offers an incredible opportunity for families, investors, and businesses worldwide. Enjoy spacious and beautifully designed luxury suites, executive suites, 1-bedroom apartments, and 2- and 3-bedroom penthouses, complete with world-class amenities and easy access to the new Kumasi International Airport. All units are on sale now, starting at $69,950. Be a part of the future of Kumasi and reserve your property today. For more information, visit our websites www.thekensingtonheights.com or www.airports.
And thank you for staying with us here on PM Express. So we've seen the analysis. Today decided to bring in the 2 party men. One of them was a man on whose lap the elections actually rested. He's the director of elections for the party. And so I decided to bring him into the studio to a conversation about that process. And then, of course, the national organizer. He's been organizing for a while. In fact, now that they have a flag bearer, they have one mission. One mission is to win the 2024 elections. And I believe the work has already begun. And
Exactly.
Has it not?
Exactly.
Yeah. So you have the flag bearer now. I guess the next big thing is getting your parliamentary candidate sorted. And then you're sort of, are you waiting for that, or in earnest now? You could say that the work has begun for 2024.
Oh, yes, it has begun. Good evening to you, Evans.
By the way, this is Evans Nemako.
Yes.
Because it's my namesake. I was assuming that you know him. Yes. But let me just clarify. There's only one original Evans. He is Evans Nemako there.
No, there are 2 original Evans.
Okay.
We have one in multimedia, and he's the only original one in NPP.
You elected your lawyer.
Well, I hope you don't want us to go into this contest.
Let's stick to our conversation indeed.
Yes.
But you answered the question about, has it begun in earnest?
Yes, it has. And before then, let me celebrate and salute the party members. We had these elections in 275 constituencies. I think the only constituency that did not have the opportunity to vote because of some legal issues would be Sunyani East. Even in the newly or yet to be created constituency like one, we had an elections there. So it's been phenomenal. For a party to go into an electionary process so vast, so big like this, you have close to about 200,000 people expected to vote, and then you come out unblemished, you come out with less problems, and then you have everybody celebrating your victory is very important. And that was what we were expecting. If you had not had that, it appears that the media would rather be focusing on the negatives. So we are happy, we are fortunate, and let me also salute the Presidential Elections Committee. Evans is a member, and they've done a yeoman's job, big job. The level of consultation and the level of engagement and what went into this whole process, they've been phenomenal. I recall that even the Thursday before the Saturday's election, we had a very big meeting where they even had to address all the issues. They dot all I's, cross all T's before we went into this major elections. So they've been phenomenal. The team was led by the respected Professor Michael Quay. So yes, you remember that for the Orphan constituency, we've already opened nominations. We are yet to go into the other processes. And very soon we will kickstart the process again for the constituencies where we have
MP. So that will be in February.
And then we would, yes, that will be in February. And then we will just finish everything. But now we've started the campaign. We have a flag bearer now. We have a new leader now. He's shown that, yes, you want to unite the ranks and follow the new patriotic party so that we move forward. Yesterday we visited him, the national leadership, we visited him, and his words are very encouraging. His words looks like somebody, because you see, the kind of energy the aspirant displayed, and particularly even the flag bearer now, we do not expect that the energy will go down. That is the same energy we are going to push into the 2024 elections.
Evans, again, I remember when we did the super delegates coverage, you had all the issues that led to, Alan Chamantain quitting, and then he citing the process as, people were assaulted, the process was flawed. And many were worried that this presidential primary may repeat some of the ones that we saw in the last one. But of course, if you take Kennedy Japan's own word on that platform the last time, when he came, he said one thing he's been pushing for was for it to be free and fair. And that he can say without a shadow of doubt that this was free and fair. So yes, congratulations to you that you pulled it off. I think the most difficult person you would have in the ranks was Kennedy Japan. So for him to say that, I wonder from your end, when you were listening to that, when he made those pronouncements, how did you feel about it?
Well, thank you, Vance, for having us, as indicated by the national organizer. The party, realizing this huge task, put it in the care of Right Honorable Reverend Professor Aaron Michael Quay. I think it was not for any, it didn't come out of vacuum. Realizing his stature in the party, his appreciation of issues, how he undertakes exercise of such nature, where he understands the mood of the party, was assisted by the first national second vice chairperson of the party, Madam Talata Sobare, Mr. Abankoye, the former treasurer. You have lawyer Nkrumah from Western Region. You have Professor Flora from Volta. You have Efua Jechua, our FNL director, being the secretary to the committee. So it's a whole teamwork that took the responsibility given to it by the National Council. Beyond that, the committee made sure that our IPAC, which we call the Intra-Party Advisory Committee, which comprised the presidential candidate themselves, the Electoral Commission, the Ghana Police Service. I mean, when we had done the Special Electoral College with a number less than 1,000, consisting of or an election that was clouded with a lot of tension and the outcome, we took further steps to engage more than we had done. So I wasn't surprised that Saturday was going to give us such a calm environment. Beyond that, the National Council of Elders and Professor Honorable Hackman Usajman brought together all the candidates, all the Council of Elders, the President himself, members of the Council of Elders, Disciplinary Committee, and the Presidential Elections Committee met at Alisa for a special accord. And in that discussion, the President witnessed it, advised them, shared his experience as somebody who has been in this internal exercise. So we knew definitely that, yes, elections, but we were going to come out very well. So the success goes to all the stakeholders, the media. You give us a lot of coverage. You were part of this whole exercise. The presidential candidate themselves. The level of engagement helped with the production of the guidelines which was used to conduct this whole exercise. An exercise that brought together a voting population of over 204,000, and across all these constituencies, voting centers of 328, and you have candidates having their in these voting centers registered, given to the Electoral Commission to ensure that the exercise is run smoothly. You didn't hear of any problem with the ballot. You hear other elections where candidate name will not appear, where pictures will be distorted and all that. So I'll say that we've been able to achieve this because we put in a lot. We appreciated that we need to be on the same page, and that got us where we are.
And we'll be speaking pretty shortly to Professor Alidu Seidu, who also joined us, head of Political Science Department, University of Ghana, join us on phone. But let's come to the serious stuff. Unity is the most important thing now. Kennedy Ponye's walk on the stage and says, I support Dr. Bawumia. But words sometimes can have a mismatch between the reality and what he said. Beyond what he said, though, has there been real, actionable movements towards uniting the base, both those who supported him and those who work with Dr. Bawumia to work together for 2024?
Yes. Yesterday, when in our interaction with the newly elected presidential candidate, he was very emphatic that he is going to move beyond. And then when I say he and the team is the entire party, he's our leader now, he's going to move beyond the mere rhetorics. He's going to move beyond the optics. You know, it was very beautiful on the stage. You see all four aspirants holding hands and putting it in the air. It's very beautiful. And then you saw all of them coming to give their remarks. But then beyond it, they have supporters, they have followers, they have coordinators in all of these constituencies. I mean, you need to also bring all of them back on board. So yes, we have a lot of activities. I will not put it on air, but we have a lot of activities which is targeted at making sure that we bring everybody together.
What about Kennedy Pon? Beyond the stage, what has happened to reaching out to him?
That is what I'm trying to say, that His Excellency, the Vice President himself, will be reaching out to all of these personalities. That is beyond the stage, beyond what happened last Saturday. He has an activity, he'll be going to them, he'll be having interactions with them. They are going to be part of the team. They are going to be part of the campaign team. For that, I can assure you that all four aspirants, they are going to be core members of the campaign team to win 2024.
And they posted it on stage, but beyond the stage, have anybody engaged in beyond the stage?
No, but that was just Saturday.
Yes.
That was Saturday, Sunday, obviously. They've gone through this vigorous campaigning. They have to relax for a day or two. But what I can assure you is that the leader and then leadership of the party will move beyond these words and then we'll bring everybody on board. That I can assure you. For the team, we even have a reconciliation team that will be going down.
You formed that already?
We have it already.
A reconciliation team. Who's leading that?
Initially, you recall that is a whole team. Honorable Afenyomaken is part of this particular team. We have team from the parliamentary caucus. We have teams from the party. We have Council of Elders. The National Council of Elders is going to play a major role in this. So there will be selection of from these bodies into them. So we are going to move. And that I can assure you, and you see it. So the party is ready. And I love how this whole thing, engineered in Accra, has resonated on the ground. It's phenomenal. What happened in the Ohinijan Sports Stadium last Saturday has been phenomenal. So we are expecting to have a major Thanksgiving service in the coming days. We are going to announce it.
Does managing your healthcare feel like a full-time job? Bounced from one doctor to the next? All the forms, the bills, the nada bills, the...
Press 4 to repeat these options.
Does healthcare have to be this way? At Kaiser Permanente, all of us work together to make healthcare easier. And with integrated care and coverage, all you have to do is focus on your health. Learn more at kp.org. Kaiser Permanente, for all that is you.
Kaiser Foundation Health Plan of the Mid-Atlantic States Incorporated, 2101 East Jefferson Street, Rockville, Maryland, 20852.
We are looking for the location in the particular region. We will have interdenominational Thanksgiving service, and then we have the Islamic Thanksgiving service. We will go to all other faiths to give thanks to the Almighty. But so far, I can tell you that what the party saw last Saturday has been vibrating nationwide. It's been resonating nationwide.
I mean, Evans, is the party run the risk of believing the hype? Because the cracks that has been left, remember that in this process, you had a breakaway. You've had a breakaway in this process. When the process started, you had Alanchaman taking the fold. He's gone. He's left behind people, stalwarts of the party, who have not declared publicly where they stand yet on whether they support Bawumia or not. I mean, one of them, of course, is I haven't heard him, is the railways minister. So the cracks run deeper, don't they? Because whilst you're trying to mend the relationship with Kennedy and getting to actually keep his word of supporting, you also have to deal with the elements that Alan Chamanting left behind.
You see, Evans, at this point, I don't want us to create. The party has gone through this.
Sorry, we need to fix your microphone. We'll try and we'll do that. In the meantime, I want to go to Ali Duseidu, who is joining us. We'll do that so we can hear you. Trust me. Ali Duseidu is joining us, Political Science Department, head of the department in University of Ghana. Prof, give me your take on that. That very important objective now, uniting the party. We've just heard that they formed a reconciliation committee, and their job is to go around and unite the ranks. What's your take on what that will mean for the party and their chances of succeeding, considering that this process has produced a breakaway?
Good evening to you, Evans, and to all your viewers. First of all, let me congratulate the NPP for a very successful, competitive, relatively free and fair elections held on Saturday. I think it's one of the best internal electoral processes we've had in the Fourth Republic. I must congratulate them. And like you've mentioned, I think there have been deeper cracks. The process ended on Saturday, but I think it began on 26th or 25th of August. And one of the biggest members of the party broke away as a result of the fact that the processes wasn't free or fair enough. And if you look at what the results we had on Saturday, yes, His Excellency Dr. Mahmud Bawumia made history by being the first contestant, flag-bearer contestant to win. With the margins that he had, the percentage, I think 61, almost 62, first minority ethnic group to lead the NPP and the first Muslim candidate to do so. So what he has achieved is not mean a task. But you are also looking at the number of people who voted against him. Mm-hmm. Almost 39, getting to 40%. So some of them might have voted in protest, not against him, not in favor of Kennedy Japan. Some of those who voted against him might have been Alan supporters who didn't know where to go and thought that maybe we don't like him. But by not voting for him, we have to vote for, what's the name, Kennedy Japan. So and most of the people that resonated with Kennedy Japan were people who were following Alan. They all had the same dynamics. They were all portraying themselves as anti-establishment and grassroots-based candidates. So it is reasonable to assume that those category of voters, in the absence of Alan, thought that Kennedy Japan was the closest. So I think it was a very beautiful display what happened on Saturday. The optics, all the candidates rallying behind them. But going deeper than what happened, how is the NPP, under the leadership of Dr. Mahmud Bawumia, going to bring these grassroots people who still think that even in the absence of Alan, Kennedy represents us, or who expressively do not support or like his candidature? One, even bringing Honorable Kennedy Japan to speak to them might not even work, because some of them voted for Kennedy Japan not because they actually like him, but because they don't like the vice president and his candidature. So I think the first thing, and I commend the party for putting up that particular reconciliation committee, it is the first thing that they need to do, to close their ranks as a party, to reach out to the disgruntled grassroots supporters who voted in protest. of the candidature of Dr. Mahmud Bawumia. And I think doing that right now would be very significant, because if you don't close your ranks together internally, it becomes very difficult to prosecute a very formidable campaign against a political opponent who is outside of the party. So this must go beyond just the other three aspirants who contested, but it should be a deliberate effort to reach out to these individuals, especially the polling station agents, electoral area coordinators. Those are the grassroots. They are very important in every strategic operation of the party, because they live very close to the grassroots and they are the implementers of the policies that come from Accra. So I think deliberately it must go beyond just the three other contestants and rallying them and taking pictures, but it should go deeper to meet these people, listen to their grievances, and see how, as a candidate, His Excellency Dr. Mahmud Bawumia can listen to this and address it and move forward. And even if there's a possibility, I know maybe they may not want to listen to that, but if there's a possibility that they can even engage Honorable Kojo Alan Chamanten and see whether he can even rescind his decision and join the party, they should do it. If they made the effort and it doesn't work, at least people will see the effort the party has put together.
I mean, politics is a game of numbers.
So I think it should be, the reconciliation effort should be 360 to include all stakeholders. And once NPP is able to rally their rank and file together, next year's election is going to be a dogfight, definitely.
And Evans, you are addressing that same question about going beyond just the individuals who were left in the race, but also reaching out to those who are left behind by Alan Chamanten to properly ensure unity.
Yes, also, Evans, I was saying that, I mean, politics is a game of numbers, but the party is not going to be out to play out our strategy for winning the 2024 elections. We are aware that now we have almost 18 million people on the register. That's our focus. Our internal elections is over. Mr. Japan came to the stage on his own volition. Dr. Efria Koto was there, Honorable Adenimo. They were all there, and they spoke to their support base. And I'm saying that ahead of even the 4th, they had met and signed the Aliza Accord and communicated to the rank and file and to the party that they will accept the outcome of the 4th elections. And they were out there, the stadium, to say this to the whole world. They said, this is an election with all these numbers. It has been fair, it has been free. We will continue to project these qualities. If we are going to look at a certain hypothesis, whether he was just there just to give a word, but beyond that, the party is not engaging. The party is engaging. Let me tell you, as far back as 2007, when we finished the Legon conference, all the candidates who participated in that conference were part of the 2008 presidential election. And so nobody is going to be left out. And when you saw it, when Mr. Japan spoke on the Saturday at the stadium, I mean, people's initial perception, initial entrenched position that the outcome, he wasn't going to accept it. The New Patriotic Party was in the break of not coming together after the elections. Now they don't have anything else to say. And I'm saying that the party is going to keep to this arrangement, that they are all members of the New Patriotic Party. So for those who Paul says that did not vote for the vice president, that's not the point. The other contestants also had equal support base across the rank and file. So definitely, the turnout of 94% is not a small number of the total.
Talking about turnout, and I'll come to you then about you. One of the key things, sticking points of this whole process, is the evidence that we've now heard of some of the delegates talking about monies that were shared for them. Has it formally come to the party's attention? What is the party doing about it?
What the party did was to give our transportation. I don't know of any.
The 50 cedis?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
but we've heard, and not heard, our reporters recorded it, the delegates talking about getting 300 cedis from Kennedy Pond, and then from Bawumia team getting 400 cities, and some of them were fighting over that. That has become a big... In fact, Mark Minu was on the show, was saying that the OSP should look into that and all that. The party has not heard that at all?
I'm not aware of that.
Okay. Yeah. But you have you not?
No, you see, Evans, when you are doing elections of this nature, and you have your polling station executives across the 38,622 polling stations by 5, it's a huge number. You are looking at electoral coordinators, your MMDC, your MPs. Are you saying that these people were influenced in any way to vote in a particular direction?
Yeah, well, whether they were influenced or the monies were given.
The party made arrangement for our delegates to commute from their villages to the...
Did you ask some of the candidates to top up?
There was never any conversation like that. All arrangements the party...
For the party...
was to ensure that...
we supported with 50 Ghana cities.
Yeah.
You don't know what you are talking about.
Well...
I don't know what your reporter expects.
No, I mean, but that is why we reported that...
After this program, we will look into it. But as I speak to you...
So what does the internal processes say when that is an issue that is obviously...
Let's find out first, and then I talk to you all the time.
We can handle about that. He knows. He said the evidence.
No. I didn't say there's any evidence before us. There isn't any petition before us or before the committee or the party. But from the conversation we're having, we're saying that we make sure that our delegates could commute from their villages to the voting.
With 50 cities.
Yes, that's
support. I mean, the party will provide support.
And we do that.
I get that. But your delegates themselves were on the ground saying, well, the other candidates were giving them 300
How many of the MPs have we spoken to?
How
many of the MPs have we spoken to?
MPs?
Who said yes. Because delegates are not only polling station executives. I said they are members of parliament, our MMDCs, our external branch delegates, our Council of Elders and Patrons, National Council and National Executive Committee members, who has come out to say this is it. And in the party's guidelines that was put together by all the stakeholders was that nobody was going to entertain that.
But that happened.
No, but and we further even directed the police that if they discover such an act, such conduct, that if voters are being induced with money, then they should apprehend such perpetrators. So as I speak, I mean, if you have evidence, we can go into it. But on your show, I don't have evidence to that effect. What we know is that, yes, for the party, we supported each delegate with 50 Ghana cedis, and that is what we did. Evans, what is important is the highlights and the positives of this particular elections. I'm happy.
Which we talked about, but of course, this is something that you say you will look into it.
Yes, I'll find out.
I mean, the evidence is that we played it.
I'll get evidence.
He's seen it. I'll send it to you. I mean, with the video that was recorded. I mean, that
so
we have.
I'll get it from you.
Okay,
yes.
Great. I want to quickly take a quick break. When I return, the Bawumia factor, the NDC is already, of course, beginning to raise the issues about him. And as you know, in Ashanti region, he just had just over 60% of the votes. If you go to the Volta region, he lost out there to Kennedy Japan. Central region also, he lost to Kennedy Japan. And the sense is that, yeah, he got 61%. That is not as dominant as, say, you have another, for example, when he got 80 and then goes to 94% in the primary itself. And that he needed that to show that he's really the new kid on the block. Is the NPP worried about that? That the NDC is actually saying now that you have a candidate who is limped over the line and we're going to have him for dinner. We'll have your thoughts about that and pick the thoughts about it to two when we come back from this quick commercial break.
Can he tee up someone in red? And it goes to one!
What a 5 Champions League. You want to know? I be the real goat, chairman. I be the real goat. The left magician. Who is the goat? Ghana Jollof or Nigerian Jollof?
Ghana Jollof has no co-equal. The smell
smell alone. Oh my God. Oh, that shift. You two they lie, eh? Now the same stew when they use cook the rice and then they go put them for top. Hey. You are lying. Ghana jollof.
Are you busy? Forget everybody, yeah? My guy. Put some respect on the goat. On the goat? The only goat I know lives in Tama. Every year, we give to you back to back. We are talking about BET. I want some Yadia face. Except be the goat, huh? My guy, he be the goat.
Though our choice of goats may differ in football, music, and jollof, Alomo Bitters always brings us together. Alomo, experience greatness in every moment. Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18 and recommended to pregnant women. This advert is FDA approved.
Every day, people have money emergencies.
Mom, I need my school fees.
Emergency.
Mommy, chop
money emergency. Emergency. Catch it. I'm your rent emergency. Now, there's a new emergency number in town.
More money, challenge and enjoyment. At the top life we got.
Dial star 770 hash for all your money emergencies and chop life.
Dial star 770 hash for money emergencies and get easy and quick access to your money, loans, and other banking needs. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
The 2023 EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair is more than an exhibition. It's the gateway to your dream home. Don't miss this chance to make informed decisions about every aspect of your living space. Join us at the Accra International Conference Center from Thursday, November 23rd to Sunday, November 26th, 2023. This year, we are diving into the theme of home ownership, exploring the nuances between affordability, comfort, and luxury. We are bringing everything housing under one roof, just for you. See you there. The EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair is in partnership with EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and powered by the Planned City Extension Project from Cities and Habitats. Rent to own. And sponsored by Elegant Homes and General Constructions Limited, where quality meets value. Global Lighting, your solution to quality lighting. Syntex Tank, Air Strong, Air Tough. Springfield Estates, where dreams are built. Virtual Security, complete security solution. DBS, your roof experts. Virtual InfoSec Africa, security solutions by design. Saint Gobain, making the world a better plan. Clifton Homes, beautiful homes, wise investments. The Kissington Heights, Airport City, Kumasi, by HDG Homes Limited.
MPMS is always brought to you by Syntex Tanks, also brought to you by Alomo Bitters and Ghana AIDS Commission as well. Syntex Tanks is the tank for you. It's the first to introduce the double layer tank, and now you can have as many layers as you want. Syntex Tanks is the first to introduce the white inner layer tanks in Ghana. We now introduce you to the customer specs order, which lets you order any color and size of preference. Syntex Tanks gives you the longest warranty of 7 years, which no other tank gives you in Ghana. So whatever your water needs, size or project, just call them on the nationwide line 0244 335 168, 0244 335 168, or just go online at syntexgh.com. Professor Ali Dusedu, let me ask you this very quickly. You have Dr. Bawumia. Many say he limped over the line 61%. Of course, if you put in the bigger context of his historic performances, this is great. But the NDC is already giving us a signal of what they'll be saying, that even within your own ranks, you can't get anywhere close to what the other opponent, John Mahama, got. He has complete control of his party. Does the vice president have that control over his party to look at the numbers that he secured?
Thank you, Evans. I think what Dr. Mahmud Bawumia got was historic, honestly. It is, yes, it's 61%, but that is the first time in the history of the NPP that a candidate's first attempt at leading the party
You're welcome to it. It's the hottest, it's the freshest, it's the red carpet show here on this particular channel that is giving you all the excitement. Well, this is where...
My name is Albert Sori in the Upper East Regional Capital, Bolgatanga. And this is Joy News, independent, fearless, credible.
It's within the NPP as a political party. If you extend it, maybe if you look at the performance of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama in the NDC, that one is remarkable. But this is not the first time that he has contested for that particular position. He has done that a couple of times, and he might have touched base with the grassroots more than maybe His Excellency Dr. Mahmud Bawumia is able to do in the NPP. But moving forward, I think basically the narrative should be more about national appeal, character, temperament, experience, and hope.
Give me your quick answer, because in 30 seconds. So the first point, national appeal, has Dr. Bawumia got it?
Yeah, it basically has to do with his track record. Because when you are looking at national appeal, a lot of factors may come to play. People may look at his experience as a candidate, his track record in the NPP, especially with the management of economy, because that's what he's well noted for, against maybe the kind of hope he's going to promise Ghanaians. Even if I was seen to be the economic messiah and I failed, or I haven't performed to expectations in that regard, moving forward, what am I going to do as a candidate? So his ability to promise Ghanaians hope, his ability, and Ghanaians even believing in that promise, because it's also very important. Credibility is very important here. It's key in the 2024 election, because it's more about hope. And people will look at the kind of person who is promising that hope and his track record, and whether he has been able to deliver in the past, and whether he'll be able to deliver on the promise that he is bringing. So it's one thing. But the other level of appeal may also be identity politics. Because, in Ghana, we may not accept it openly, but people do vote based on identity politics. His identity label, who he is in terms of regional, in terms of religion, in terms of all other things. And how would that resonate with Ghanaians?
Yeah,
but also the dominant party model.
Yeah, and that's a very important point. Unfortunately, time just is not our friend here. Let me give the quick thoughts on that last point, that identity politics you have to deal with. First, Muslim. First, from the north for your party. You need to appeal to the nation now. How do you do that?
No, yes. I mean, already I think that His Excellency the Vice President is already appealing to the It's not as if he's a new person. He is on a new face. He started, being a running mate of His Excellency the President 2008, 2012. He was still there. But don't forget the famous Supreme Court case where he sat in the courtroom for almost about 8 months. He was our star witness. And then he again partnered His Excellency the President for